We just received a shocking Eagles update regarding one of the top defensive stars for the Philadelphia Eagles, and this will have major implications on how this team performs the rest of the 2025 season. We'll break everything down on this crazy Monday afternoon regarding Eagles news. What's going on, guys? Alex Brooks back here on Eagles Digest to give you guys everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles, and we received some breaking news in regards to the Eagles defense. But before we get into everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles, if you guys are not subscribed to this channel, if you're a part of the 96.7% who aren't subscribed to this channel, you guys better hit that subscribe button, comment down below, let me know your thoughts on everything surrounding the Philadelphia Eagles and where they stand right now. But when we get into this video, as we're talking about Za'Darius Smith, and we just received some breaking news in regards to Za'Darius Smith, the top sack leader for the Philadelphia Eagles so far this season. And it is not great news for everyone who hasn't heard. Eagles pass rusher Za'Darius Smith has apparently just retired from football. Eagles in need of pass rush help already take another hit. And this is massive, guys. This is something that I was definitely not expecting when preparing for a video today, that Za'Darius Smith, the leading sack guy on the Philadelphia Eagles defense, is no longer going to play for the Philadelphia Eagles or any team, as he announced his retirement just in the past hour or two. And this is just something that is just blown my mind. I mean, we've seen players of teams retire before the season. We've seen players retire middle of the season when they aren't really on a contender. They don't feel like they haven't, reached their step or reached, where they get up out of bed in the morning and they feel good. They just think that, I'm just going to retire right now. But this is just shocking because Za'Darius Smith just signed a contract with the Philadelphia Eagles after their week 1 squeak out against the Dallas Cowboys to help rejuvenate these young guys and help them out. But this is just insane because this is something that we just don't expect from a guy who wanted to prove himself and prove that he can, get a contract in the next couple of years. And a guy who just has been doing well for the Philadelphia Eagles. He's the lead sack leader on this team. And now he has announced his retirement and keeping the Eagles now in a big hole. He's put the Eagles in a big hole now, not having his presence, where Nolan Smith is now injured and a lot of things can go wrong on this defense, as it already has. And this is something that I saw that was pretty interesting that I wanted to share with you guys. It said, I remember Za'Darius Smith first media availability at his locker at NovaCare. He was asked if he considered retirement during his prolonged free agency. Said something along the lines of, no way. I have a lot of football left in me. And, you're just completely lying to us at that point, because just a couple weeks later, as the Eagles haven't been doing good these past 2 weeks on defense, on offense especially, you decide to cut ties and retire. I mean, that is your decision at the end of the day. That is your decision. But when you're looking at it, now this raises the question on, is there problems in this locker room? Is there problems regarding this Eagles team and how they develop guys? Is there something wrong with Vic Fangio's system and the guys are not connecting to the coaches this year as they were doing last year? Because last year, obviously, everything turned around when they went after they went 2-2 and they just raced through the NFL and got to the Super Bowl and beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. But now this year, people are retiring middle of the year. People are saying stuff on Twitter. People, AJ Brown's going out there blaming his teammates. All of this different stuff that's happening right now that shouldn't be happening to a team that just won the Super Bowl back in February. A team that we thought were being compared to dynasties as they beat down a former dynasty in the Kansas City Chiefs. They are fundamentally broken. The foundation right now is severed. I mean, I've never seen a team like the Eagles that can't sustain success. They are one of the only teams I've ever seen that cannot sustain success when the going gets tough, when it's the year after. You go in 2018 where it was after like Carson Wentz came back and there was some back and forth with Nick Foles and Carson Wentz, and then they weren't able to sustain success. They got to the playoffs, but they weren't able to win that division. And then when it was 2022 into 2023, the collapse happened where they started 10-1 and then they lost all those games. I mean, this is just insane of what's happening right now. And I don't know what can really fix this. This is going to have to go on Nick Sirianni and everything that, his leadership and what he preaches. He's got to preach this locker room right now and try to blend them together, because people retiring in the middle of the season on a Super Bowl contending team is just out of the ordinary when looking at the Philadelphia Eagles. Looking at what Za'Darius Smith did over his 5 games, he had 5 games, 1.5 sacks, 3 solo tackles. So he had an impact for the Philadelphia Eagles. The edge rushing department for the Eagles has been terrible this year. And Za'Darius Smith is one of the guys who the Eagles relied on to get pressure on the quarterback. It's been something that we haven't seen on Jackson Dart, on Bo Nix, on any of these quarterbacks. There hasn't been any sacks. There hasn't been much pressures. So a guy who has helped out in that department is now leaving and retiring. Now we have to go in different directions. We got to get on the phones. We got to get someone in this locker room to help out on the edge. And we're looking at this edge room. Za'Darius Smith crossed him out on there because they haven't updated the depth chart right there. So that is crossed off. So now on the edge, it's Joshua Uche, Azeez Ojulari, and on the other side, it's Jalen Hunt and Patrick Johnson. That is very thin. Nolan Smith is on the IR. He will not be returning probably until after the bye week. So these next 2 games before the bye week are huge right now, are really crucial to get someone in here via trade, via free agency, to get in there and produce on the edge. Because right now, if you're signing, if you want to go to a team and start and you're behind someone, the Philadelphia Eagles are calling and they're going to want someone to make an immediate impact. So the Eagles are open for business. They're open to get some edge rushers because Jalen Hunt hasn't ascended to the guy that we really thought he was going to be after Josh Sweat retired and how he looked in the Super Bowl. And Joshua Uche and Azeez Ojulari haven't been up to snuff in this Eagles locker room. And I just definitely think that there is something that is going wrong with this Philadelphia Eagles team. I mean, their defense against the Giants was abysmal. Cam Scatteraboo, he's a very talented running back, but there was no way that with the defense and the foundation Vic Fangio preaches on this Eagles defense that anything should have gotten through in the run game especially. And just looking at what Za'Darius Smith had an impact on regarding this edge group for the Philadelphia Eagles, saying, honestly, kind of a big blow for the Eagles considering the Nolan Smith injury and how thin they were at edge to begin the year. Smith only played 17 snaps against the Giants and was 5th on the list behind Jalen Hunt, Azeez Ojulari, Josh Uche, and even Patrick Johnson. He played 34 snaps against the Broncos, which was 46%. So you're using all of that right now. You're using all of the experience that Za'Darius Smith has, all of the production that he's had this season, and that is walking out the NovaCare Complex. That is walking out of your team, and he is done. And when you're looking at it, this is huge for the Eagles because they're going to have to get someone who can replace that production because Nolan Smith's not coming back until the bye week. There's going to be having to have someone in this locker room to go in and really produce. I mean, they're going to have to rely on guys like Josh Uche and Jalen Hunt to step up and give pressure on these opposing quarterbacks, or this defense is going to look like it was in 2023. You need to have the pressure on the edge, especially. And Jalen Carter's dealing with an injury, Quinyon Mitchell in the back. So, the linebackers, the edge rushers, they got to get something going on the edge to really figure out how this defense can shut down other opponents. And Howie Roseman definitely needs to get on the phones this week and get somebody via free agency, via trade. It's going to be a huge opening for the Eagles at edge rusher and at corner, and we'll see what happens moving forward. But that's going to do it for another edition of Eagles Digest. Appreciate all the support you guys are giving us on this channel. Remember, subscribe, comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Za'Darius Smith retired news. Definitely think that it is huge in the matter of what this Eagles foundation, what this locker room is seeming like right now. Just want to get your thoughts on where to move forward here. But I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Go Birds and fly, Eagles, fly.